What is up, Bitcoiners? Joe Rodgers here. I got a chance to sit down with Max Keiser and Stacy Herbert to talk about Bitcoin 2021. We got to talk about the reflection since Bitcoin 2019, how the world's changed, and what they're most looking forward to at this year's conference. Max Keiser sitting down with Michael Saylor for probably the most anticipated keynote of the event. He assured me that he will do everything he can to properly orange pill Michael Saylor. You're going to be guaranteed fireworks for this keynote. Bitcoin 2021 is held in beautiful Miami, Florida, June 4th and 5th, and tickets are still available. Head over to b.tc/conference for tickets, and I think there's about 1,000 left, so be sure to pick one up. Use promo code Satoshi for 10% off. With that being said, let's get right into this podcast. Enjoy. Max and Stacy, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to talk to you about Bitcoin 2021, and it's been kind of a whirlwind. We haven't really gotten a chance for Bitcoiners to get together in some time. So how are you guys feeling about, getting a physical meetup together in beautiful Miami?
I am so excited for Bitcoin 2021 in Miami. The last time we were able to attend the Bitcoin conference was, of course, in San Francisco. I think it was 2019 now. And in those 2 years, we've seen the emergence of a philosopher and artist class. We're entering the Renaissance 2.0 era of Bitcoin. And I can't wait to meet some of these people in MeetSpace, that have entered in the past 2 years or flowered, at least in the last 2 years, blossomed into the philosophers, the poets, and the artists.
Yeah, and Miami has become really a Bitcoin mecca in the United States since the last Bitcoin conference. The mayor is quite active, and a lot of Bitcoiners are moving there. And so it's become a nexus of Bitcoin activity. So I'm really anxious to see how that's going.
Yeah, I'd often ask Bitcoiners that I know who live down there, I say, is this all hype or is this real? Is that energy that the mayor's putting out there, are things really jamming and happening? And overwhelmingly, the answer has been yes. Miami is legit. The mayor is building. Companies are coming there. That's really exciting to see.
Well, also think about it. Bitcoin is an escape valve, an escape hatch, as Christine Lagarde at the ECB warned recently. She was warning that it jeopardizes the fiat system. It's an escape from the fiat system, and they want to shut that down. And Miami, what is it? Who lives there? What are the neighborhoods there? They're all people who are exiles and escapees from essentially either dictatorships, authoritarian governments, or hyperinflation. You have loads of different communities and a blend of survivors, really. These people survived and escaped and saved themselves from desperate situations. And it's an amazing community. It's an amazing city, if you've ever been there, like to go around like Little Havana, obviously. There's Little Haiti, there's Venezuelans there now. There's loads of different cultures all mixed in one place.
It feels like the perfect opportunity. It's like place and time for this to be happening. And you couldn't ask for a different culture than like an LA filled. Well, I guess, they have a lot of immigrant community there, but I guess when it comes to government itself, you can ask for, difference in leadership.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, Los Angeles is definitely a one industry town, and that is film and television. And San Francisco is Silicon Valley, and Bitcoin is not really Silicon Valley. Bitcoin is on its own vector, and it needed to find a city. And the two cities competing right now for Bitcoin dominance in America would be Miami and Austin, Texas. And these two are kind of battling it out. And it's very interesting to see because they're both low tax states. They both have a certain political persuasion that's different, very different than LA, San Francisco, New York. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of spending time in both cities, and they're both fantastic. But my vote is give me that beach and the coastline. Austin's great. Don't get me wrong; it's a lot of fun. But I'm looking in Miami. But they are
Well,
quite proud of that real estate down there.
Max is obviously very proud of having the best legs in Bitcoin. So Miami is, of course, a place that he might like to step into his Speedo and his.
Yeah, anytime I can wear my Speedo, I'm happy. So I'm kind of moving more toward the Miami side.
The conference is going to have pretty lax dress code, Max. So
Yeah, I'm
don't be
not going to wear
scared.
any clothes at all. I don't know if that's going to violate the dress code or not, but I'm figuring I'm going to go all in on nudity.
That'll really excite people. So, okay. So, what are you guys most excited about rolling into Bitcoin 2021 itself?
The global adoption of Bitcoin. So what in the last 2 years we've seen Nigeria, Sudan, Ethiopia. These countries have really come out, and the populations are seceding from their governments. With Bitcoin, you don't need a central bank, you don't need a central government, you don't need a nation state, and that's being played out now in countries around the world. So this is the beginning of global Bitcoin standardization, global Bitcoin hyper Bitcoinization, and we see that happening now, and it's exciting.
I'm also excited because Max and I started doing financial news reporting back in 2005, 2006. And it feels like we've come full circle in terms of the global macroeconomic story. And of course, Bitcoin was born October 31st, 2008. The white paper was published, and then the first Bitcoin block was mined in January 3rd, 2009. So I think we're entering into that period. And so it's come full circle in terms of the end of, the fiat regime that has kind of destroyed price signals and important economic indicators around the world. And of course, as well, we're heading into the 50th birthday of an all fiat world. August 1971 was when the US dollar was born as the reserve currency on a fiat standard. And so I think it's interesting times.
Indeed, that's really exciting things to be excited about. So I think Max, something dropped yesterday on Twitter. We kind of announced that you're doing fireside chat with Michael Saylor, and the conference team. They work in very hush hush environment, and I was super excited because that was news to me whenever that dropped on Twitter. So. How long have you guys been planning that? Are you excited to share the stage with Michael? Or are you going to be like emceeing? Like what should we expect from this conversation?
Well, I didn't know myself for sure until I saw the notice that it was definitely confirmed. There had been a couple of conversations about, hey, maybe we should do this. And then when I saw it, I said, wow, okay, this is definitely going to happen. And I look forward to it. And, the thing about Michael is, he's nibbling at Bitcoin. I think he should, maybe take some big bites and really get serious about it, 90,000 coins or whatever. I mean, that's a good start. It's a good
Yeah.
place to start your journey, but let's step it up. Let's get big, go big or stay home.
Yeah, I
I
hope you
like
can
that.
convince him.
I like that Michael said his mission on stage is to convince Max to double down on his commitment to Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, and he's obviously kind of the guy, the go-to guy. I mean, what he's done is amazing, and it's every day. I think people are surprised at the level of his commitment. He's into education. He's when he came out and said, "Look, I'm buying Bitcoin," he already knew. Not only did he do his due diligence, unlike some other celebrity CEOs out there, they've not done any due diligence, but he actually did the due diligence. Plus, he knew everybody in the community. He knew everybody, what they do, what they're all about. He's communicating with them. So this is a completely professional CEO with 20 years under his belt, running a company, a public company, who has taken the utmost serious approach. And that's a role model for everyone. Anyone who's in business, anyone who's in Bitcoin, anyone who's in kind of who wants to improve their life. If you read a book like The Bitcoin Standard by Saif Moose, it's really 3 books in one. It's about Bitcoin, it's about the history of money, it's also about high time preference versus low time preference, which is a philosophy of life. And that's the thing about Bitcoin. It's the number go up technology, and the price is the least interesting part about Bitcoin. Everything else around it is actually much more interesting. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You get on Twitter debates with people who say the price this, the price that, but they don't understand that that's really the least interesting part of the protocol.
Stack sats for salvation, right?
Yeah, I mean, you stack sats, and I look around the world today, and I see so much violence and war, and I know that under a Bitcoin standard, it demonetizes violence and war, and it's monetizes peace and community. So I'm looking forward to a much more peaceful war. And by the way, when you get rid of central banks and fiat money, the energy usage by planet Earth gets cut in half. So it goes from 160,000 terawatt hours per year to less than half of that number. If you really want a green world, go to a Bitcoin standard.
I like the story of Michael Saylor as reported on Swan Bitcoin, their podcast. I know Swan Bitcoin is one of your sponsors of the event.
Oh yeah.
And Michael Saylor's friend, one of his best friends, recounted the story of talking to Michael Saylor, talking him into Bitcoin and the whole nature of how he was so inquisitive about this and stuff like that and asked the right questions. And then he said Michael Saylor called him and said, "Hey, yeah, I bought 10,000." And his friend was like, "Oh, like $10,000 worth?" And he's like, "No, 10,000 Bitcoin." That's a serious stacking.
Yeah, out of the gate, he came out
It's a
swinging.
start. It's a start.
The plebs are as quickly as possible trying to figure out how to speculative attack the dollar. So he's kind of leading the charge on that. It's pretty impressive.
I like that he's maintained a pleb attitude despite, whereas most are stacking 10,000 sats, he's stacking 10,000 Bitcoin, and he's, staying humble. He acts as if he's just bought 10,000 sats.
Yeah, he's incredibly high signal, and he doesn't back down to a Twitter conversation. And he's performed really great on some debates recently. But Max, I'm so pumped for that fireside chat. I mean, you put on quite a spectacle at 2019, so this is one that I think that if you look at the calendar itself, so the conference, I'm sure you're aware, but it's going to have very much like a festival vibe to it. It's going to be indoor, outdoor. I mean, we're going to have vert ramp for Tony Hawk, basketball court, like you name it. It's going to be a real like one of a kind type event. But the inside main stage, I can't remember how many people sit in there. Probably like 3,000 max. It's going to be packed house. It's going to be elbow to elbow, and not everyone's going to be able to get a seat in that room. So that's one that I will be posted up extra early. That's one to not miss.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the featured speaker is Michael Saylor, so I mean, I'm there to support Michael Saylor, and on behalf of the conference, right? So that's my job, and so I'm approaching it in that way. I mean, I'm there to do a job, and I want to do the best job possible, and that's my way I'm approaching it. So you don't believe me, do you?
Are you saying that we're not going to see you skateboard out in your Speedo?
What are you saying, Max?
They're counting on you skateboarding out in your Speedo.
I mean, that's I'm gonna let Michael will have a say in this. It depends on where he's at. If he's we'll probably just meet backstage 5 minutes before we go on and come up with something, and that'll be it. We'll see. I have no idea.
You're gonna have to bring a lot of $100 bills to burn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, of course. I burned thousands, probably 50,000 worth of fiat money, U.S. dollars and other fiat money.
You mean one Bitcoin worth of fiat?
Yeah, it's cathartic. Why not? It's good for you because you bring home the fact that it's worthless garbage. And sure, why not?
Absolutely.
Hello, anybody there?
I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be so exciting. Okay, so you both kind of touched on it. I mean, I think I get the feeling, I know what you're like most passionate about, but I'm going to ask a question like kind of directly. Going into the conference and coming out of it, what do you think is like the one like big topic we as Bitcoiners as a community need to address? I think you kind of touched on it already, but maybe we can just have, get that out in the air.
For me, I think the big takeaway for this conference is going to be that people finally realize that it's not about getting a celebrity endorsing it. It's not about getting a celebrity CEO to endorse it. It's really happening on the ground. It's really happening on the cyber hornet level, the plebs, the node holders and owners. And we saw that in 2017 when the nodes beat the big blockers. And that was a seminal moment. That was, according to Michael Saylor, that was when he really started to change his thinking about Bitcoin. And he saw that the decentralization aspect to it was real and how valuable that could be. And so I think that's what will come out of it: the triumph of the noobs and the plebs and the millions and billions of people out there who are buying just a few satoshis. That's where this whole thing works. The celebrity at the top and the CEOs at the top, they're not the ones that are going to make this revolution happen. It's going to happen on the ground level. And I think after this conference, that's going to be something they take away. They're like, you know what, this revolution is happening, and I can participate with, even one Satoshi, as Stacy likes to say, is essentially gives you that fuck you money.
I want to also add that I think this conference will show Bitcoin is love and Bitcoin is peace. We have several major cycles converging at the same moment, historical cycles. Like these are Thucydides' trap that's happened only 18 times in history. The fourth turning, which is usually a tumultuous time. Same with Thucydides' trap. But I think this time it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be a peaceful transition to a next epoch. And Bitcoin's going to provide that way. We don't have to choose war. We can choose peace, and we can choose consensus. And I think that's, having honest money at the center of it is what's going to provide that. And just like the Renaissance 1.0, where the florin provided the stability into the chaos of Europe at that time with the bubonic plague and the Inquisition going on, here we had a city that, despite all of that around them, attracted the best and brightest, clearly. And, we're all Medicis now, and I think we're going to see a similar flourishing of arts and culture and peace and love.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, both of you. To wrap this thing up, this is a short and sweet one. Where can people find you? And any parting words?
You can find our content at youtube.com/orange pill, or, amplify the relentless optimism of the Bitcoin life by joining our Telegram group, t.me/orange pill.
Yep, I would say definitely a Telegram group. It's a lot of fun. t.me/orange pill. And, we're making a lot of great fun content, and check it out. And as Stacy says, and look forward to making a lot at the conference. We're going to have our own camera people there, as well as using some of the facilities available. And, I'll be probably at the media tent, hanging out, bugging media people relentlessly.
Yep.
To tell the story and to boost Bitcoin, to get it out there. So that's where you'll find me mostly, is in the media tent, bugging mainstream media.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a content creator's dream. Everyone's going to be there. So thanks you both for joining. And we'll wrap it up.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.